Where do I even begin? Where do I even begin, man? Do I go with the obvious and talk about the offense? Do I talk about the penalties and how undisciplined this team is? Do I talk about the play calling? I don't even know where to begin anymore. I think we've hit rock bottom. I really do. It's week 3, and us Miami Dolphin fans, we have hit rock bottom. Before the 2024 season started, did you think we would be sitting here and watch Tim? I can't, I can't even say with a straight face, man. Watch Tim Boyle be the starting quarterback for the Dolphins. We've seriously hit rock bottom. And I think one thing that we know for sure is whether he's healthy or not. I think we have just seen the last opportunity for Skylar Thompson with the Miami Dolphins. I mean, maybe they'll keep him on the roster for depth, but if I'm being totally honest with you, Mike White is still on the Buffalo Bills practice squad. And I would make amends with Mike White. I would tell him we screwed up on the situation. Should have cut Skylar, not you. And I would get Mike White back on this team and cut Skylar Thompson. Because Skylar Thompson looked scared, uncomfortable, and did not give this team a chance. So, ultimately, who do I blame the game on? This is obviously a team loss, but you cannot blame the game on the defense whatsoever. They played their tails off ever since the first quarter. After the first quarter, the defense played their tails off. You can't blame it on them. Who do we blame this game on? It's either Skylar or it's Mike McDaniel. And I'm gonna blame it on Mike McDaniel. Because enough's enough. The culture is not working. The whole nice guy, players coach, laughing at the podium, cracking jokes. There's no accountability in this organization. There's no discipline at all. And I'm going to sit right here and say, I told you so with this organization. That Mike McDaniel, I said it last year, Mike McDaniel was not the guy. Last year, Mike McDaniel was not the guy. And I told you that after they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. And they still go out and they sign Mike McDaniel to a long-term extension until the 2028. Until 2028. And I don't think he's cut for the job. And I think Mike's a great guy. I think Mike is a great schemer. I think Mike knows his offense. He knows offense really well. But his game day operations, his play calling, it's pathetic. And it's bringing the team down, and it's bringing the offense down. And he went with this offensive line. He settled for an offensive line that we have right now. He picked his guy, his backup, in case Tua went down with an injury. His guy was going to be Skylar Thompson. And he made this bed. And his bed is full of shit. He's got a big pile of shit sitting on his bed right now. and it's because of it's because of his decisions. And now we're sitting at 1-2. We're sitting at 1-2 with the Tennessee Titans coming into town next week. And I'll talk about that towards the end of this video. But this game, we never had a chance because of Skylar Thompson. So in that aspect, I'm going to give 80%, I'm going to give 75% of the blame to Mike McDaniel, and I'm going to give 25% of the blame to Skylar Thompson. Because Skylar Thompson is not an NFL quarterback. He's not. He's not good enough to play in the NFL. He sucks. And he did try to toughen out in the third quarter and stay in the game. He was getting demolished by Seattle's defensive line. The offensive line had no chance against that Seattle defensive line. So, I mean, and the fact that we saw Tim Boyle out there, and Tim Boyle looked more competent, Tim Boyle looked more poised than Skylar Thompson did. I'm not going to say Tim Boyle's some great quarterback, but I mean, for crying out loud, man, how can you sit up on that fucking podium all week and say, yes, we are confident in Skylar. The team is confident in Skylar. Do those players even believe in Skylar? Or was that all bullshit this week? From Zach Sealer, from Jalen Waddle, from Tyreek, from Devon Achane? Well, did they actually believe in what they were saying? Or were they just spewing garbage because they have to be a team player? I think that was all bullshit. I'm sitting here thinking that was all bullshit. What they said and the confidence that this team had in Skylar this week. All bullshit. Because there's no way now, after watching this game, that you're going to sit up on the podium, look at the media members in their eyes and say, we are confident in Skylar. There is no way you're going to stand on the podium and say that. Right after I'm done this, I'm going to go catch McDaniel at the podium because there's no way he believes in the shit that he says. This team has no grit, no toughness. There's no heart, and it's because of Mike McDaniel. I can't believe I'm about to say this. I would love to have Brian Flores right about now. Do you see his defense? They've played two top 5 offenses back-to-back weeks. They held San Francisco to 17 points. And they held C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans to 7 points. 7 points! I would love to have Brian Flores back in Miami right about now. I'm not saying our defense is bad. I'm saying nothing negative about the defense. The defense was bad in the first quarter, and that was it. That was it. I can't harp on this defense. They're playing with injured players as well. The injury bug's back. Teron Armstead hurt. David Long hurt. Storm Duck hurt. Alec Ingold hurt. Kendall Fuller in concussion protocol. So he's probably not going to play in the next game. We're banged up. We have no offense. And we have a dumbass as our head coach. It's great being a Miami Dolphins fan. It's great. It's great. Let's go over some stats, and then we'll dive into this game. We'll go to the Dolphins first. The Seahawks won this game 24-3. Skylar Thompson, 13 for 19, 107 yards. So, pretty pathetic if you ask me. Tim Boyle, he came in, and he went 7 for 13 with 79 yards. I'm going to talk about this Titans game at the end, what I think they're going to do with next week. A lot of you are probably going to be mad about what I say. Miami only ran the ball 18 times. One of my keys in the preview video was to set Skyler and the offense up for success. This did not set them up for success. This set them up for failure. They ran the ball 18 times. Do you know how many times the Patriots ran the ball last week? 38. Do you know how many rushing yards the Patriots had last week? 165. Do you know how many rushing yards the Dolphins had this week? 65. 65 rushing yards. There's no run game. There's no run game at all. Devon Achane had 11 carries for 30 yards. And Jalen Wright only had 2 carries. That's pathetic. Tyreek Hill, 3 catches for 40 yards. Sucks. D. Eskridge, 1 catch for 30 yards. Devon Achane, 3 catches for 28 yards. Jalen Waddle, 4 catches for 26 yards. Not good enough. Julian Hill, a penalty machine was Julian Hill. 2 catches for 24 yards. Jonnu Smith, 2 catches for 18 yards. We get to the defense. Kader Kohu had an interception, and Zach Sealer had an interception. This defense tried everything they could to keep this team in the game, and their offense let them down time after time after time after time. And in the fourth quarter, the defense threw in the towel, and honestly, I couldn't blame them. I couldn't blame them at all. They got pressure. Deshaun Hand had a sack. Zach Sealer had a sack. Calais Campbell had a sack. So they got sacks. They got 3 sacks on Geno Smith for the day. So that's a positive sign. Then we go to the Seahawks. Geno Smith, 26 for 34, 289 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. I was going to say something, but I'm going to say it after the stats. Zach Charbonnet, 18 carries, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. DK Metcalf, 4 catches, 104 yards, and a touchdown. Noah Fant, 6 catches, 60 yards. Tyler Lockett, 5 catches, 46 yards. Jackson Smith-Njigba, 3 catches, 39 yards. This Seattle Seahawks defense had 7 sacks between Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle. They had 7 sacks. Our offensive line, folks, you can thank Chris Greer for that one. You can thank him for that. So what I was going to say was, what's also so upsetting about this is Seattle did nothing special in this game. After the first quarter, their offense was irrelevant. And if we had a decent quarterback, if we had Tua Tagovailoa, we would have won this game. And I stand on that. Seattle did nothing special. The commentary team, Kevin Harlan, I love Kevin Harlan, but they were praising how great of a defensive game Seattle had today. What do you expect when you're going up against stiff quarterbacks like Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle? That's the kind of results you expect when you're going up against quarterbacks like them. It's so frustrating, man. What have we become? What have we become? Last year, in week 3, the Miami Dolphins scored 70 points. And now this year, a full calendar year, the Dolphins score 3 points. 3 points. Oh, man. Let's go ahead and get this started. Seattle, we're already 15 minutes in, and I I didn't even go over the play-by-play game yet. Seattle, they start the game with the ball. The Dolphins deferred. We'll go 1st and 10 at the Seattle 45. Geno Smith to Tyler Lockett for 18 yards. 1st and 10, or 2nd and 10, I'm sorry. Geno Smith was sacked by Deshaun Hand, so that pretty much held Seattle to a field goal. Jason Myers making it from 56 yards. The Dolphins then get the ball. First play, Skylar Thompson to Devon Achane for 22 yards. That was probably the best play Skylar had all day. And it went pretty south from there. Jalen Wright up the middle for 9 yards. Then it's 2nd and 1. So what do you expect the Dolphins to do? You expect them to run the ball, right? Nope. We throw the ball, scramble out to the right, and incomplete to Devon Achane. And then 3rd and 1, we get stuffed up the middle by Jeff Wilson. And then in a time you should actually go for it, we kick a long field goal, and it was wide left. So the Dolphins miss a field goal on their first possession. Seattle goes 5 plays, 53 yards for a touchdown. Geno Smith to Noah Fant for 11 yards. Zach Charbonnet for 3 yards. 2nd and 7. Geno Smith to DK Metcalf for 22 yards. Geno Smith threw that right on the dot. And then the very next play, Zach Charbonnet for 4 yards and a touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks. The Miami Dolphins, they go 5 plays, 8 yards and punt. And then, let me see where I'm at here. Yeah, they go 5 plays, 8 yards, punt. Seattle, they're backed up on their own 10-yard line. DK Metcalf gets called for offensive interference. 3rd and 15. And Geno throws a check down to Zach Charbonnet. It's tipped up in the air, and it's intercepted by Kader Kohu. So get this, ladies and gentlemen. Get this, okay? 1st and goal at the 6-yard line. You would expect, shit, this is a great opportunity to score a touchdown. Not so fast. Julian Hill, 2nd penalty, back-to-back drives, gets called for illegal motion. It's 1st and goal from the 11. Skylar Thompson throws a 1-yard pass to Tanner Connor. 2nd and 10. Skylar Thompson throws a 6-yard pass to Alec Ingold. It's 3rd and goal. Skylar Thompson, pressure in his face, has to throw it out. Miami settles for a field goal. Good job, boys. Good job. Way to get the field goal there. And then the defense gets on the possession. 1 play, 70 yards. DK Metcalf. That pretty much put the game away, if I'm being totally honest with you. 5 o'clock. Before 5 o'clock, this game was over. How sad is that? How sad is that? So we get into the second quarter, and the Seahawks are up 17-3. Skylar Thompson to Jalen Waddle. Bubble screen, which Waddle turns into a 1st down. After that, the Dolphins punt. 2 straight incompletions on 2nd and long and 3rd and long for Skylar Thompson. Dolphins get called for legal formation. How many penalties did the Dolphins have today? That's something I would have talked about. Let me see. Dolphins had 11 penalties. You're not going to win football games like that. Seattle, they go 9 plays, 45 yards, missed field goal. It's 3rd and 5. Geno to Tyler Lockett for 7 yards. 1st and 10, Geno to Noah Fant for 16 yards. And then Geno to Jackson Smith-Njigba for 15 yards. They had called for holding. 3rd and 17, Geno to Pharaoh Brown for 9 yards. And Jason Myers, misses a 53-yard field goal. If you hear barking in the background, that's my dog. I'm sorry. Dolphins go 5 plays, 18 yards, and they punt. Skyler was sacked on that drive, and the next possession for Seattle, they go 4 plays and they punt. Zach Sealer got a sack on that drive, and then 3rd and 11. Skyler gets sacked by Boye Mafe, and then this is mind-boggling. What happens next? So it's 4th and 19. We're about to punt. And this shows how undisciplined the Miami Dolphins are under Mike McDaniel. 4th and 19. Jake Bailey punts the ball. Julian Hill gets called for his 3rd penalty in the half. Illegal formation. We have to punt again. Jake Bailey makes a 57-yard punt to the 5-yard line. Duke Riley. Unnecessary roughness on the Seattle sideline. Why? Because Duke Riley's not disciplined because of the head coach. And then 4th and 39. They punt. And that's that. Number 1. Jake Bailey's the MVP of this team this year. I don't care what anybody says. The MVP for the Miami Dolphins this season so far has been Jake Bailey. And that's pretty darn sad. And yeah, I hope. I mean, probably not, because he doesn't take accountability. But I'm hoping this coach and this coaching staff harp on these players about that series of punts, because that shit is unacceptable. Seattle goes 3 and out on this next drive. And then we end the half. Skyler to Tyreek for 17 yards. Skyler to Jonnu Smith for 5 yards. Illegal contact gets called on Tyreek Woolen. And Skyler has to throw the ball in the end zone. Just chuck it up there and see what happens. It's the last play of the half. Nope. He holds on to the ball for way too long and gets crushed by Derek Hall to end the half. 17-3. This boy got slaughtered. The entire game. The Dolphins, they start out the next series with the ball. Skylar Thompson gets sacked on 3rd and 2. And he lands on his right shoulder from Terrell Dotson. And he's walking up and he's holding his shoulder. And he ends up coming back in the game. But, I mean, that won't be for long. And then Seattle punts. Calais Campbell got a sack on that play. And next series, Skyler gets hurt. He gets tackled by Daquan Jones. And he lands, and they called it a chest injury, and that was all you saw from Skylar Thompson. And I would put money on it that that's all you're going to see of Skylar Thompson in a regular season for the Miami Dolphins. I would be crushed if they put him back out there ever again. So now they put Tim Boyle in the game, and turnover on downs. Seattle goes 3 and out. Miami goes 3 and out. And honestly, 3rd and 11, Jeff Wilson got a 10-yard run. I would have gone for it there. Who cares? The game is over. You have no shot. I would have gone for it there, but whatever. Seattle goes 8 plays, 31 yards. Geno Smith to Noah Fant for 15. Now they're at the Seattle 45. Geno Smith to Zach Charbonnet for 8 yards. 2nd and 11. Geno Smith gets called for intentional grounding. 3rd and 22. Pass gets tipped up in the air by Calais Campbell. And Zach Sealer Big Zach Sealer comes down with the interception. Such a shame, man, because I can't even get excited over a Zach Sealer interception. Who's Zach Sealer is one of my favorite players on the Miami Dolphins, and I can't even get excited when he gets an interception because we know that the offense is not going to come through for the defense right here. But I feel like this drive right here, the last two drives of the game, even though we didn't win, is going to make Tim Boyle the starter next week. I'm going to talk about that more when we're done talking about this game. 2nd and 9, Tim Boyle to Alec Ingold for incomplete, but it was defensive pass interference on Devon Witherspoon. Tim Boyle then scrambled for 6 yards, and guess what? He slid. Maybe if Tua Tagovailoa slides as well, he's still the starting quarterback on the team. Devon Achane for 3 yards. Devon Achane for 2 yards and a first down. Tim Boyle to Jonnu Smith for 13 yards. Threw it in between two defenders and got it for a first down. That was a nice pass by Boyle. 2nd and 10. Tim Boyle to Julian Hill for 11 yards. Austin Jackson gets injured on the play. He comes back the very next play, though. And then this is the second time today. Not once, but twice. 1st and goal at the 3. This is rare. We have an opportunity to score a touchdown. Devon Achane loses a yard. Devon Achane gains a 2 yards. Tim Boyle throws a dime in the back of the end zone to Durham Smythe, and Durham Smythe drops it. Sucks. That was our one opportunity to get back in the game. If Smythe catches that, we are back in this game. We're down a touchdown. And then the very next play, Boyle incomplete to Devon Achane. A lot of contact on there. Should that have been called interference? Probably. But I digress. And then at the end of after that, you had 4 opportunities to score a touchdown from their 3-yard line. You couldn't get that. At this point, the defense threw in the towel. They gave up 11 plays, 98 yards for a touchdown, ended off by Zach Charbonnet, and that's your game. The Dolphins lose to the Seattle Seahawks 24-3. And it's a shame because look what happened around the NFL today. Look at what happened. Sam Darnold with the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold was not supposed to be the starter this year. Sam Darnold diced up the Houston Texans, who's one of the best teams in the AFC. Kevin O'Connell finds ways to win with Sam Darnold. Look at the Green Bay Packers. Matt LaFleur has won 2 straight weeks with Malik Willis at quarterback. Malik Willis had a great game today. Matt LaFleur is a great coach. The Carolina Panthers won with Andy Dalton. Yet Mike McDaniel can't win with a backup quarterback. And you know what? I said it last week. You had opportunities to go get really good backups. Gardner Minshew was available. Drew Lock was available. Sam Darnold was available. You passed up on all those guys. And you settled for Mike White and Skylar Thompson. And now it's coming back to bite you in the ass. It's bitten you in the ass. And pretty soon, we're going to have this conversation. Tua's timeline is 4 games. That includes the bye week we have. So we're sitting here at 1-2. And we play the Titans, the Patriots, and the Colts. the next 3 games. If we're 1-5 or we're 2-4, I don't think it's worth bringing back Tua. If we win 2 out of these next 3 games, then you bring him back. I don't think it's worth it though. If you are 1-5 or 2-4 in the AFC, you got no shot. You got no shot. At that point, I would let Boyle or Huntley play quarterback for the rest of the year, and I would tank for quarterback because we need a better option at plan B than what we have right now. If Tua doesn't retire, we need a much better option at plan B. Now, let's check Twitter to see if we have any post-game notes from Mike McDaniel. I don't think he's supposed to go up until 8 o'clock. Yeah, nothing to note. I don't think he'll give an answer until tomorrow, but what's next heading into next week? This fan base is going to be slamming the table, pounding at the table for Tyler Huntley to start Monday night. But I'm telling you right now, he's not starting Monday night because they're going to come in with the excuse that Tyler Huntley still doesn't know the playbook enough and that Tim Boyle's going to start. I'm telling you right now, with that drive, because that drop at the end zone, that's not on Tim Boyle. That was a great pass. That was on Durham Smythe. That's all on Smythe. McDaniel's going to look at that last drive. That drive where they got all the way down to the 3-yard line, that's going to win him the start for next week. So I'm telling you right now, Boyle's going to be the starting quarterback next week against the Titans. And the Titans are a beatable team. They are 0-3. You look at it right now, the Titans got a phenomenal defense, but it's the quarterback that's holding them back. You look at the early spread for next week, the Dolphins are 1-point favorites against the Tennessee Titans. I'm guaranteeing they're going to be underdogs going into next week. At home against the Titans. Do they lose to Will Levis 2 years in a row at home on Monday Night Football? If they lose to the Titans next week, I don't give a shit who the quarterback is. I don't care. If you lose to the Titans at home next week, you could put the nail in the coffin on the season. And I'm not joking. You put the nail in the coffin. Because Will Levis is a turnover machine. So, I said it last week, and I'll say it again. We're going to see a lot of games like this. And we saw it against Buffalo. Now we saw it against Seattle, where we got our asses kicked. So, it's not pretty. It's not pretty over here. But whenever Mike McDaniel announces the starting quarterback for the game next week, I will be on here to make a video about that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Tim Boyle. So whenever that happens, be on the lookout. I will be dropping a video. And that's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. What misery this team puts us through. But I'm going to get out. Thank you guys so much for joining. I guess have a good night. I don't know if you're going to have a good night. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to put to words, but I'm heading out. And peace. Fins up.